Have you experienced that constricting pressure in your chest during anxiety episodes? That overactive mind refusing to quiet down at bedtime? That ongoing preoccupation with what's ahead that takes away your now? Consider this. A single three-word phrase exists that can vanquish anxiety right as it begins. A phrase so powerful that neuroscientists have studied its effect on the brain, and what they discover will change how you deal with stress forever. Yet before disclosing these words, I must ask you to take action at this moment. Click the subscribe and activate notification settings, since what comes next might be what stands between constant stress and genuine serenity. This video originates from compiled scientific research from worldwide academic institutions and freely accessible public health materials, offering updated information particularly suited for individuals over 60. At this point, allow me to pose a candid question. How many of your days have been dedicated to fretting over circumstances that never came to pass? How many beautiful moments have you missed because your mind was trapped in an imaginary future or a painful past? The actuality is that anxiety cannot dwell in this moment. This cannot happen. Anxious thoughts consistently focus on either upcoming possibilities or previous incidents. It nourishes itself from moments that don't exist in this instant. And this is precisely when the shift occurs. The phrase that obliterates anxiety is simply, I am here now. Merely 3 words. 9 letters total. Immeasurable force. As you speak these words with genuine consciousness, something extraordinary occurs neurologically. Studies employing functional brain imaging indicate that present moment consciousness swiftly reduces the amygdala's activity, where fear resides, while simultaneously elevating the prefrontal cortex's function, which handles reasoning and emotional management. Yet this transcends simple brain biochemistry. This centers on taking back your life from control of non-existent dangers. Think about it. At this specific point in time, are you well? Not in future days, not upcoming weeks, not within those early morning mental constructions. At this instant, the reply is typically yes. This very second, breath flows through you. At this moment, you're secure. At this instant, you possess all that's required to exist fully in the now. Most people over 60 carry decades of accumulated worries. We've experienced sufficient life to understand that negative events occur. We've lived through heartbreak, setbacks, and health-related challenges. And because of this experience, our minds become hyper-vigilant, constantly scanning for the next threat. This is what those in psychology identify as anticipatory anxiety, and it's incredibly tiring. It resembles racing in a marathon without moving. Your body fails to recognize the distinction between real hazards and imaginary ones. When anxious about tomorrow's doctor appointment, your heart pounds faster, blood pressure goes up, stress hormones inundate your body, exactly as if danger were present now. This ongoing stress not only feels awful, it actually speeds up aging processes and compromises your immune defenses. Here's a significant finding that Harvard scientists uncovered. As individuals regularly exercise present awareness, their organisms manufacture decreased cortisol, the principal stress hormone, and elevated DHA, often labeled a longevity compound. Just by bringing your attention back to now, you're literally choosing health over disease, peace over chaos. I want to share a tale that captures this ideally. A 72-year-old gentleman named Robert existed, whose days were devoured by worry over his cardiac health. Each dawn he began by checking his heart rate, observing every feeling. Convinced each day could be his final, his wife observed him withdrawing into this anxiety cell, until one day in his garden setting, a butterfly alighting on a proximate flower drew his focus. For just moments, his mental chatter ceased completely. He experienced no anxiety about his heart. He wasn't contemplating the future. He was just watching this butterfly, present in that moment. And at that moment, he comprehended something meaningful. His stress wasn't shielding him. It was hindering him from living fully. From that point forward, whenever stress appeared, he would remind himself, I am here now, and orient his focus to something in his present space, a particular sound, a bodily feeling, the act of breathing. Gradually, this modest practice transformed his life more completely than any drug had achieved. At this point, I'd like you to stop this video briefly, just 5 seconds, and attempt this personally. Speak the words aloud. I am here now. Feel your body in the chair. Sense the air touching your skin. Perceive the noises around you. Notice how quickly your anxiety fades when you genuinely land in the here and now. This doesn't represent positive psychology or denial. This is something considerably more forceful. It's the truth of now. This current moment is the only one that really exists. All else is composed of either memory or mental projection. As you realize this fundamentally, not simply theoretically, but through actual experience, anxiety lets go of you. You discover you've been in pain over matters that have no present reality. And before we go further, I need you to help me spread this message. Write a comment with 1 if this clicks for you, or 0 if you remain skeptical. Your interaction supports this video in finding those who critically need this information. Now then, let's discuss utilizing this phrase effectively, particularly during severe anxiety episodes. The critical aspect isn't utilizing it as an implement against anxiety, trying to drive anxiety out. Instead, apply it as a steadying force, a gentle cue to return home to the here and now. As you recognize anxiety escalating, pause. Take a slow breath. Pronounce I am here now, either verbally or silently. Then engage your senses. What's visible to you? What can you hear? What sensations do you notice? This uncomplicated practice stops the anxiety cycle before it intensifies. Brain research shows that complete presence and complete anxiety cannot coexist. They cannot coexist. Presence removes anxiety just as light removes darkness, not through fighting, but through simply being there. For individuals beyond 60, this practice proves distinctly valuable as we frequently possess not just present worries, but also aggregated stress from decades of life difficulties. We might worry about health, about finances, about our children or grandchildren, about losing independence. These represent authentic worries, but being anxious about them solves nothing. It merely stops us from appreciating the positive moments remaining. Action solves problems. Presence grants us serenity. Worry achieves neither. Here's why this phrase is so revolutionary. It functions instantly, requires no money, produces no negative effects, and works in any location, anytime. So here's what I'm challenging you with. Whenever you perceive anxiety forming, implement the phrase, I am here now. Pronounce it with conscious intention. Re-engage your senses. And here's what I'd like you to do this instant.